I think we're going. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our now monthly YouTube live chats with me, Bryan Barron, the Director of Skincare Research at Paula's Choice. Based here in Michigan, so it's 2 o'clock where I am, and if you're on the West Coast, it is 11 a.m. on Thursday, October 4th. This year has gone by so fast. I know we're in October, but I had to double check and just see what day of the month it was. Already talking about Halloween and doing trunk or treat at my son's daycare. I think I'm gonna outfit my car to be a dinosaur because that's what he's really into, and hopefully it won't make some of the smaller kids cry, but I'll try to keep it Disney-ish, if you will. So questions are piling up. That is awesome. I'm here for the next hour talking at you, and I will come back at the end of, well, not right at the end of the chat, but over the next few days, I will revisit this page. If you have additional questions, if I did not get to your question, please leave it in the comment section below, and I will answer them as best I can. If you're not already aware of it, I wanted to share some exciting news with you, and that is Paula's Choice won another Allure Best of Beauty award. So this is their, just double checking, Ms. Rihanna is on the cover. Doesn't even say the month, but I think it's their October issue. Well, I'm sorry, it says special issue fall 2018. But in the category of facial serum hydrating, you can see I highlighted the text, which is on page, well, toward the back. Our Resist Omega Plus Complex serum won a Best Serum Award through Allure, and that is amazing. Not only when you consider the number of products that are considered for this honor, but the fact that the serum category is probably one of the most crowded in skincare, and certainly in the anti-aging realm. Now, they chose us for hydrating. They commented on the glowiness that the serum provides and the lovely feel it has. Totally agree with that. If you haven't tried the Omega Serum, it is certainly hydrating, certainly barrier repairing, certainly calming thanks to its blend of the omega fatty acids that are in there, as well as some ceramides. But those ingredients and other ingredients in the Omega Serum also kick in anti-aging benefits. So as you're considering our serums, know that all of them have anti-aging benefits. Some have more specialized functions than others. For example, the Omega Plus Complex isn't going to load up your skin with antioxidants. You're getting some, but the Resist Super Antioxidant Concentrate serums, the antioxidant concentrates we have in skin recovery and skin balancing, those are going to really kind of give you the mother load of antioxidants. And you can do what I do with those products. You can layer them or use them on opposite days. So you're kind of getting all of those benefits in a roundabout way without feeling like you have to layer on a bunch of products all at the same time, because you know there's a limit. All right, well, I'm just going to dive in and take questions. Let me know what's on your mind. Seeing some familiar names coming up in the chat feed already, starting with Aphrodite. Hi, Brian. What do you think about ultrasound therapy and microneedling? Ultrasound therapy with a procedure known as like Ulthera, that's a brand name, and there's other variations of it. I am much more a fan of that than I am of microneedling. I think microneedling has some interesting initial results in terms of skin improvement, and the procedure does generate some collagen production because like several other types of procedures that a dermatologist can perform, such as laser and light emitting treatments, and even the Ultherapy type treatments, Ulthera, they generate new collagen production via a controlled wounding of the skin. And what does skin do when it's wounded? It immediately goes into collagen overdrive because it wants that, just your natural healing mechanism kicking in response to injury, very similar to if you were to cut your hand or scrape yourself. the skin begins to repair and tries to defend and mend itself almost instantly. The healthier your skin is to start with, the better your results are going to be, in much the same way that if you wound compromised, dry, damaged skin, it's going to take a lot longer to heal and won't heal as well as skin that's naturally more youthful, healthier, protected from sun damage, things like that. So microneedling tends to be done on a more frequent basis, and the problem with that can be, I'm making a generalization here, but the problem can be by doing it too frequently, your skin does not shift from making the wound healing collagen to making the kind of collagen that is naturally present in skin and responsible for its youthful firmness. It's contributing to its plumpness, its shape, working with elastin to make sure skin bounces back into place, all that good stuff. The type of collagen that is produced when skin is wounded is a different type of collagen. It's thicker, it's ropier, it's basically made to kind of be like an internal bandage and kind of brings itself together in a very fast way, and it just isn't as elegant as the collagen 1 that is naturally present in our skin. That's the kind of collagen you want to stimulate. So when we injure ourselves and the body starts producing that, I guess you could say, I don't want to call it inferior collagen. It's inferior to the kind of collagen that you want to have for younger skin. But it's not inferior in the sense that, this is a good thing that your skin does this to help you heal. When that process happens, your body naturally shifts from producing too much of this quote unquote bad collagen to more of the collagen that you really want. But if you repeatedly injure your skin, i.e. you're going in for microneedling treatments 2-3 times a week, maybe even once a week, depending on how deep they go, that can keep your skin in a perpetual cycle of always producing that not desirable collagen, the wound healing collagen, and you won't get your skin into that mode where it starts producing regular, youthful collagen. So that's why I'm a little cautious around microneedling, and I'm a bigger proponent of all therapy, which uses heat, controlled heat, to cause collagen and other fibers in skin to contract. All the all therapy type treatments are generally considered best for tightening. They can be very helpful as a non-invasive, I should say not non-invasive, because there is some invasion going on, depending on how you define that, non-surgical, let's say that. A non-surgical way to address first signs of sagging. If you have more pronounced sagging, very saggy neck, if you've got jowls, all therapy probably won't do too much. You're not really going to be all that happy with the results. When the sagging gets to that point, it's almost always time for surgical intervention. And I know that sounds scary, but I would much rather you go down the path of finding a great cosmetic surgeon, have those consultations, and go with something like that is going to really come as close as humanly possible to getting you what you want, versus paying a lot of money for these non-surgical procedures when really your concern is past or outside of the realm of what they can realistically do. Okay, see, I just keep talking when I haven't talked with you guys for a while. All right, next question. Kevin. Hi, Brian. Welcome back. What do you think of glutathione? Can I buy a supplement, and does it really make me wither? Kevin, did you mean whiter, maybe? I don't think you want to wither. Please don't. Glutathione is a good antioxidant. It's sometimes referred to as the body's master antioxidant, just because of everything it does throughout the body. I am not well versed in oral supplements of glutathione and what the pros and the cons are. For skin, for topical use, it can be a wonderful antioxidant. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the cool things about glutathione is that it has a special ability to help regenerate other antioxidants as they start losing steam. Antioxidants work on skin by intercepting damaging free radicals before they can latch on to healthy substances in your skin and start causing a cascade of damage. But antioxidants, they're sort of like kamikaze pilots, as I've explained it in the past. They can only do that so many times, take that hit for you before they start breaking down. They're not impenetrable. They're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Immortal. They're not immortal. They will eventually break down, and there are certain antioxidants that can, for lack of a better word, sense when those partner antioxidants start losing steam, and they can go over there and say, hey, I'm going to give you what you need. I'm going to give you this power pack, so to speak, so that you can start firing on all cylinders again. And then they do. They listen, they get that message. So in terms of supplements, though, I would urge anyone to check out consumerlab.com. They do for the supplement industry what the team over at Beautypedia does for skincare and makeup reviews. They do, well, actually, they go even deeper. They do a very deep dive into all types of supplements. It is a paid site. It's not super expensive to join. I'm a member. I can't recall off the top of my head how much I paid, but it wasn't like shock-inducing. And once you explore the site as a paid member, because a lot of the stuff is behind that paywall, once you explore the site as a paid member, you're like, if you're considering any type of supplement, chances are they've covered it, and they'll tell you not only the good, the bad, the ugly, but they also rate the various products that contain. I mean, how many times have you thought, well, I'm going to go buy some vitamin C or omega-3s, and you're standing there in the health food store or the drugstore, and there's a million options, and they all look appealing, and they all have little buzzwords on the label and special delivery systems and this, that, and the other thing. And is this form of zinc better than that form of zinc? ConsumerLab.com breaks it all down for you. I am not. I'm starting to sound like a paid consultant for them. I assure you I am not. I just think they're a very cool site, and I love telling people about it. And I will always do that when I come across something cool that I think would be of benefit to the fans, to you guys, to our supporters. Alex says, Hola, Bryan. Will PC launch a new body product soon? I miss the body oil. I do too, Alex, and I have one bottle of it left. And it's a non-aqueous formula, so I'm not super concerned about it going bad. But I ration it because presently they're just thinking ahead. We don't have any body products in the works. It's harder for us to compete with some of the very good body products at the drugstore, particularly in the realm of body washes and body lotions and body creams. I think our replenishing body cream that we launched earlier this year is a fantastic product. I use it almost every day. I love how it feels. The texture and the experience of using I was just telling my husband this the other night, because he's like, why aren't you using the lotion with the pump? I'm like, I like ours better. I like how it makes my skin feel. I like how little I need to get the results I want. But I acknowledge that when you're looking at our product, that I think retails for $22 for a 7-ounce tube, and you're comparing it to CeraVe or Cetaphil or Eucerin at the drugstore, for $10, $11, maybe even less, you're getting at least that much product, probably a few ounces more. Ours can seem like not such a good deal, which is why, and it's harder for us to convey that being mostly a website company. It's easier with facial skincare because there isn't, at least for the type, the playground or the playing field that we are on, that Paula's Choice is on in the facial care category, really is out of the league of what we're typically seeing these days from most drugstore brands. It just is. I don't know why that is. I have theories, but it's interesting though. I was just going over this in my head the other day. I actually think it's easier to walk into a drugstore or a superstore like Target and find a really nice body care product than it is to find a really great facial care product. Just, again, generalization. I'm not saying there are no good facial care products at the drugstore. There certainly are, especially in the realm of cleansers, but I think anti-aging, acne care, eye area products, it's a tougher sell there. Okay. Roel says, hi, Brian. Could you give me a mini review of the Mineral Tinted Australian Gold SPF 50? Did you like it? Is it a product you recommend? I do. I do like it. I used an entire tube of it. Um, the one the one thing I do recommend it. The one thing that I did not like, I thought that the tint worked well for me. I mostly used it though on my arms because I didn't like, excuse me, I didn't like the way it felt as much on my face. Personal preference, no reason you can't put it on your face. I encourage you to try it and see what you think. But what I noticed when I used it on my arms is that the tint was really difficult to remove. Like on the days that I wasn't putting it on every day, and then I would shower every day, and I would notice that it just wasn't washing off. And I use a creamier body wash, usually the one from Dove Sensitive Skin, and that has the kind of ingredients in there that can help break up those sunscreen formulas, and it just wasn't cutting it for me. And then I worry about like the tint getting on bed linens and clothing and my car and stuff like that. So that was my only hang up. Otherwise, I think it's a very nice, elegant product and very gentle. Christina, going to Japan next month and would like to get your opinion on Japanese skincare. Do you like their approach? Any product recs I should keep in mind? I definitely prefer the J Beauty, as it's called, approach to skincare versus K Beauty. I know the Korean skincare rituals, and that it is a ritual. They absolutely set aside time to go through these lengthy routines. From what I've seen, the K beauty routines are too repetitive. I just don't think you need that many steps, at least not every day and every night. So what I like about J Beauty in comparison is that it doesn't force 20 some odd products on you. If you think I'm overstating that, some K beauty routines can really get up to that many steps. When here in the States, we complain if we do more than 3 or 4 steps, like, why is it taking so long? Not mocking anyone, I say the same thing. And I know better. Where was I going with that? Oh, having said that, I am not intimately familiar with enough Japanese skincare to be able to point you towards a certain line and say, oh yes, they're the ones who are really on top of it. I will say though that Japan-based Shiseido, which is probably one of the largest and most well-known Japanese skincare lines, their products, except for their sunscreens, their other skincare products tend to be really hit or miss. The formulas often contain alcohol, the drying kind, not the fatty alcohol kind that are fine for people to use. So I would just, as in any case, avoid products that are over-fragranced, avoid anything anti-aging, that has antioxidants that's packaged in a jar. Definitely no retinol in a jar, no vitamin C in a jar. Watch out for problematic fragrant ingredients like fragrant oils. Watch out for denatured alcohol, menthol, mint. Those ingredients show up in products all over the world. It is not a uniquely North American or European phenomenon. And just because J Beauty is having a moment right now does not mean all of their products are fantastic. But I think you could find some interesting options over there that may be either difficult to find or not even available over here yet in any form, which that's more along the lines where I would kind of encourage you to jump in and take a look and have some fun. Let's see, let's get the next question from another person. Nats DD, hi Brian, I'm a little confused on how to incorporate the azelaic acid in my routine because of the consistency. Could you give me some examples before or after serum or at the end? Love PC products. So Nats, I use the azelaic acid booster, and I've been using it morning and night, but in the morning I don't put it on all over. I put it over areas where I'm having a little bit of skin tone issues. I've got a post-acne mark over here that it's working really well to fade. Got a little brown discoloration over here that it's helping to fade even faster than what I was getting from hydroquinone. Yay! And I've been layering those. I'm not swapping one for the other. In the morning, I put it on, the azelaic acid booster goes on right before my sunscreen. And at night, It depends on if I'm using a serum or not. On the nights I use a serum, and I go back and forth between the Resist Super Antioxidant Concentrate Serum in the dark blue tube and our Resist Intensive Wrinkle Repair Serum. I use the Omega Serum as well, but because of the texture and consistency of that, I kind of liken it more toward a moisturizer, whereas the other two serums I mentioned are more serum-y. They've got more of a silkiness to them. They're non-aqueous. On nights that I use the serum, I put the azelaic acid booster on first as another moisturizer type step. If I'm using the Omega serum, I'll put that on, and that combination of those two products gives me enough hydration. So I don't follow with a moisturizer at night. I'll just dab on some eye cream. If I'm using actually, let me go back a bit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this more confusing. If I'm using either of the Resist serums, antioxidant or the retinol serum, I will put the azelaic acid booster on first and then finish with the serum. If I'm using the Omega serum, I will put that on and then finish with the azelaic acid booster. Sorry about that. That's what I meant to say the first time through. But it's a cream gel texture. I would encourage you to experiment. There's no hard and fast rule. It is also totally fine to put the azelaic acid booster on cleansed skin and you're done. If you want it to be super simple, if you have very oily breakout prone skin, and if you're not dealing with active breakouts, in which case I'd say exfoliant and benzoyl peroxide along with azelaic acid, you can be done. All right, scrolling down here. Rebecca says, hi, I hope you give us hints of the new products that is launching soon, the one that Allie hinted of. What did Allie hint of? Oh, I want you guys to be surprised by that. I think you will be surprised by that. How's that for a hint? Hi, Brian, this is from Pal. Which other brands are your favorite apart from PC? It varies in terms of products from other brands that I use for facial care. The only other one is the SkinCeuticals Physical Fusion SPF 50. That's my daytime sunscreen. I know I've said this before. It's not that I think Paula's Choice doesn't have good sunscreens for the face. We do. It's just that those for my skin type, to one degree or another, it's personal preference, and I'm just not as fond of them as I am of the SkinCeuticals. I wish I could use the Resist Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 30, but the tint that product has is a little bit too dark for me. I know some of you have had a similar experience, but we're not touching that tint. We may at some point. I've suggested this, actually do a lighter tint version and a slightly darker tint version of that product. It's been suggested. Don't misquote me. It's not happening yet. It's not official, but it's talked about. But that product, the Super Light, is one of our top sellers worldwide. So clearly a lot of people love the tint, don't want us to change it. So, but just so you know, if you're in that group of people who just aren't fans of the way that color looks on your skin, I am there with you. Having fair skin is just a touch too dark. Melissa said, oh, other brands. I think CeraVe has some good products, mostly for the body. I think Eucerin has some good body lotions. I think Aveda does really interesting hair care. I really like Oribe hair care. I wish it wasn't so damned expensive, but you know, at least both Oribe and Aveda do a good job of not doing what I consider more kind of copycat formulas. You look at the ingredient list for shampoos and conditioners for some of the brands sold at drugstores, major brands, and no matter if it says softening shampoo, shampoo for coarse hair, shampoo for frizzy hair, shampoo for color treated hair, and on and on and on, the ingredients are nearly identical. Now, do the ratios change? Much like you could say, here are the ingredients in chocolate chip cookies. You know, you have these basic ingredients, I have mine, but our recipes are going to differ. Therefore, your cookie will taste different than mine. Yes, I'm sure that there are subtle differences, but I really admire hair care companies that really you could just tell they put more creativity and formulary effort into their products. And from a psychological standpoint, at least for me, that helps justify the higher prices that I will willingly pay for some of those products. Not that I'm not on the lookout for a less expensive alternative, but more often than not, especially in the realm of styling products, I just don't find them. I do like L'Oreal's Ever line of shampoos. They have several different types. I like the thickening one for my hair type, but they have, like I said, several others. And skincare, I mean, there's a lot of good products out there. I think Clinique does some nice stuff. I think Drunk Elephant does some nice stuff. I think The Ordinary has some good products. Got to temper your expectations more with them in terms of if you're familiar with that brand and their approach, and a lot of their products are more on what I would consider the one-note side. However, for the money, and if you're willing to use 5 products to take the place of what 1 or 2 can do, more power to you. And they pretty much get it right in terms of packaging. As far as last I looked, they might have snuck in a jar for an anti-aging product, but I doubt it. Melissa says, "Hi Brian, any mineral sunscreen SPF 30 recommendations? All the ones I've tried pill up." Huh? Oh no, that's unfortunate. I'm assuming you've tried some of ours. I haven't experienced pilling with those when I've used them. If you haven't tried the new Essential Glow from our Defense line, that would be worth checking out as a newer option. This is a tricky question because often what causes a product to pill, it's not really the fact that it's a sunscreen, it's not the fact that it's a mineral sunscreen. There are, in all likelihood, there are ingredients in the products that you've tried, and maybe it's the minerals and there's some silicones in the formula, for example, and they're not playing well with ingredients and other products that you put on before that. Not the fault of the product, it's more the product combination, and it's a frustrating thing as a consumer because you can't really know ahead of time when that interaction is going to occur. You pretty much just have to take your chances and then deal with it if it does happen. One of the potential steps you can take to see if this helps is rather than apply the mineral sunscreen, I'm hoping among all the ones that you've tried, you found a few that if it weren't for the pilling issue, you really like how they feel and how they look. In that case, if that's true, then try waiting until the last 1 or 2 products you put on ahead of the sunscreen have really had a few minutes to absorb, and then put your sunscreen on top. Another thing to consider is there a daytime product, non-SPF, that you might be able to get away with only putting on at night? And then you find that when you eliminate that product from your daytime routine and you go to put your sunscreen on, voila, no more pilling. If it is your foundation pilling over the sunscreen, I would try experimenting with different types of foundation versus experimenting more with sunscreens, especially if you prefer the mineral sunscreens. It could all come down. It could all come down to that combination, and a lot of times it can be an incompatibility with silicones and oils in formulas. They just, rather than mixing nicely together, blending well, they kind of fight each other, which can result in some pilling. But again, I wish I could say avoid this ingredient, don't use this combination, but there isn't a hard and fast formula, which is what's so frustrating. And I've had this happen to me in the past, and you just have to keep experimenting until you find the combination that works and still takes care of your skin type and skin concerns. Eileen says or asks, would you recommend any of the Defense line for oily, acne-prone skin, maybe the pore purifier? Yeah, Eileen, I think the pore purifier would be great, and the cleanser, the hydrating gel to cream cleanser. I know it says cream in the name, but it's still a completely water-soluble formula. It doesn't have any creamy ingredients in it. It really is a factor of how the ingredients interact with water, and they do this really cool, it literally starts out as a gel, a clear gel, and it morphs into this really luxurious feeling cream. I'm really proud of that cleanser. I think it's really cool. And I knew we had a winner when my husband used up the entire prototype, the little tube, because he is incredibly picky about facial cleansers and had gone through all of our cleansers, and the only one he really liked was the earth-sourced perfectly balanced cleansing gel, which is also a PC for Men face wash. And so that's what he was using until we launched the Defense Gel to Cream Cleanser. So those would be fine. And you know, actually, Eileen, the reconditioning moisturizer, the nighttime moisturizer in Defense, it's super sheer. There's no, is there oil in it? Oh, I don't want to misquote. If there's, let me just like really quick double check here. It's such a sheer lotion. I can't see that making breakouts worse, and it's got some nice soothing ingredients in it. It's kind of, okay, it does have some small amounts of different plant oils, moringa, marula, sunflower. I knew it. But it isn't oily. I promise you it's not oily. But I understand, having previously dealt with acne-prone skin, not so much now, maybe because of, well, actually a lot's because of skincare, and I think a lot of it too is because I've gotten older and I'm growing out of acne. Not everybody does. I wish they did. But I understand the concern about wanting to avoid anything with oil when you have acne. But I've been using the Defense Moisturizer off and on. It hasn't replaced my beloved Skin Balancing Moisture Gel. But I think that 3 of our 4 Defense products I would feel comfortable recommending for oily acne-prone skin. Leanne says, hi, Bryan. What is your opinion of the microfiber cloths that take off makeup? I notice I have to rub a bit. Thanks. Love the chats. Those, you know, I haven't personally experimented with those, but I have seen some of the videos. I think it's kind of fascinating how it works. There's a convenience to it, and that they're generally pretty quick, and I'm almost certain, if I'm remembering correctly, you can use them without water. Sometimes you just don't have access to water, or at least not fresh water. The drawback, as you probably noticed, is that you are doing more laundry. So rather than everything going down the drain, as it does when you wash your face the conventional way, or use a cleansing brush, for example, you've got to launder those cloths. Or at the very least, wash them at your sink immediately after use, and then of course you have to wait for them to dry. But being a microfiber cloth, they probably dry pretty fast. So I have nothing against them. If you are finding that they are a faster, more efficient way for you to get through your routine of makeup removal, then I say keep using them. But I, of course, just because this is what we do, skincare, I want you to make sure that you're not over manipulating your skin. One of the nice things about washing your face with water and a cleanser appropriate for your skin type is that when you put the cleanser onto wet skin and then you're splashing it off, water reduces friction. So even though there is some massaging of the skin going on, and you could say, well, that moves the skin, and yes, of course it does. But the friction is reduced compared to dry cleansing, and where you're automatically going to be moving the skin more because you don't have the water to help things along. And water is a natural solvent as well, so it plays a role in helping to remove those substances from the skin. Water alone isn't going to remove makeup, sunscreen, excess oil, which is why you need surfactants or oils in a cleanser base appropriate for your skin type. But water does play a vital role in the cleansing process in most respects. Britt says, hi, Bryan. I got a strong reaction from SkinCeuticals 1% retinol, but I had no issues with PC's retinol booster. That's good. I will say that SkinCeuticals 1% retinol is their formula. It's a good formula. I guess you could say this is tooting our own horn, but I think Paula's Choice went the extra mile not only in terms of controlled release retinol, the way that it's wrapped up and then slowly released into the skin as opposed to hitting you all at once. And we also took steps to choose some proven soothing ingredients to help offset any potential sensitivity. So I suspect that's why you had a better experience with our 1% product. I think our 1% retinol booster is great. I like clinical 1% retinol treatment as well. It's just that the texture of that isn't my favorite because I have combination oily skin, and the 1% retinol booster is essentially a fluid gel. Liz says, hi Bryan, I'm working with a redness sufferer and I have really great results with the Calm line. Next, would you add omega or niacinamide or another product? The Calm Redness Relief line has its own serum. The omega serum is a different texture. It's got a different mix of ingredients, and all of those omegas are nicely anti-inflammatory. So I think if your client is open to it, especially if he or she lives in a part of the world, part of the United States, let's just assume you live in the United States, I'm fairly certain you do, where they experience cold, dry winters. You know, they're not living in Florida or Arizona. They might want to switch from the Calm serum to the omega serum for those colder months, and then add in the niacinamide booster a few times a week. I think those are both products you suggested would be great to augment that routine, either as a replacement for the redness relief serum or as an add-on to it, or something they can alternate. Maybe they put the redness relief serum on in the morning and they use the omega niacinamide booster combo at night. SoulKeys86 says, hey Bryan, I love the omega complex serum. I was wondering though why an airless pump wasn't chosen for the packaging. Why an airless pump? I mean, I view the pump on that serum as airless as long as you're not unscrewing it and, you know, pulling up the dip tube. It's fairly, if you've got that locked down, it's going to be airtight, and the bottle itself is metal as well. It's a combination of like a metal ceramic. It's not much is getting in there. And even airless packaging has some limitations in terms of a little bit of air getting into the formula. It's really about choosing the packaging that is going to make the most sense for product stability. This is the path we follow. Product stability is number one. And then a close second is compatibility with the product in terms of how well does this formula dispense, or how easy is it to get it out of this particular type of packaging. Okay, Nisepi N says, please put ingredients back on the bottles and tubes. Believe it or not, people do periodically reference the ingredients, and while getting ready, I don't want to pull out my phone. I have my phone on all the time when I'm getting ready because I'm listening to music. No, I hear you. I understand. Yeah, we started on some of the smaller. It's interesting because we moved to outer cartons, which are recyclable and using a certain amount of post-consumer recycled material. I know that's important to a lot of people. It's important to me. But when we went into brick and mortar stores like Nordstrom and our debut into Pharmaca stores and for QVC, we started using the outer cartons, and that's where we put the bulk of the product information. Fairly standard practice in the industry. When we did print the ingredients on the products, particularly the smaller products, we would get complaints then too because of the amount of ingredients and the amount of space we had. The text size had to be really tiny, so it made it tricky to read. So I don't know, it's one of those situations where I feel like I get not wanting to have to hold on to your box, you know, just recycle that versus holding on to it to cross-check ingredients down the road. And I get the inconvenience of having to like check on the computer when you're in the middle of doing something else, or check on your phone. It's certainly a suggestion that I will pass on and see if there's something. I know some brands have done what's called accordion labeling, and that is like you've got this. You basically have all the product information on the box is on a leaflet type thing that is stuck to the back of the product with some sort of an adhesive, and then you unfold it accordion style, and then there's all the information you need, and then you can fold it back up and reattach it. Problem with that, not only is that extra enhancement expensive, especially on a product-to-product basis. You wouldn't think it would cost that much, but it does. The other problem is that depending on where you live, depending on how you store the product, depending on what else might be on your hands when you touch the product, over time that accordion label is going to start to come undone. And then you've got, you know, a product where it's like, oh, the label's hanging off and you're always sticking it back on. So I know it's like no matter what, there's going to be some level of frustration there, and so we're just trying to like take the path of the least frustrating path. But even then, it's just not going to please everybody. But I will pass on your suggestion, and there are some products that we could look at doing that to again that aren't so small. The smaller ones is just a struggle. Like there's I'm sorry, there's no way we could put the ingredient list on the back of the tube of our eye cream. It would be so tiny you would need like 20x magnifying glasses to read it. So that there's going to be some products where it just wouldn't work at all. Let's see. Eileen are asked, do you get any facials or recommend any facial treatments along with a great daily skincare routine? I have never had a facial, believe it or not. In terms of other facial treatments, I've had high-strength peels in the past, not recently, probably not in the last 4 years. Ditto for Botox. I did Botox in the past for a little bit, really just between what's called the 11s, or the bunny lines, some people will call them. And I'm not opposed to it. I do it again, and I absolutely will do fillers when I feel that I'm ready for them. I don't think I'm there yet, but I'm a big proponent of doing little things here and there, you know, basically kind of more maintenance as we get older alongside a daily skincare routine versus putting stuff off, putting stuff off, putting stuff off, and you're like, oh man, I've sailed past all those easier options and it has to be this now, and it's going to be more painful and it's going to be more expensive, and why didn't I do this when I was younger? I don't want to fall into that camp. So, but what else? I've had, again, not recently, but I've had intense pulsed light treatments in the past, probably a good dozen, 15 of those maybe over the years. They help deal with pigmentation issues as they show up. They can elicit some amount of collagen stimulation, not as much as some of the deeper lasers, not as much as stuff like Fraxel or Ulthera or Thermage, which I have not had done for any of those, but not opposed. It just, I'm lucky enough that my skincare routine and not tanning, and I haven't deliberately tanned since I was in my mid-teens, has seemingly served me well as I approach my 45th birthday, which will be here before I know it. Maya says, hi Brian, what do you think of DIY vitamin C? Does it work? Ascorbic acid and water to make every week. It doesn't work. I'm not a big fan. And the reason is that even when you make it fresh, even when you take a vitamin C tablet and crush it into a powder right then and there, and then you add it to your distilled water, your tap water, whatever you opt to use, in order to be most effective for skin, ascorbic acid has to be in a tighter pH range, ideally between 2 and 3. A little bit past 3 can be okay. I don't like going as low as pH 2. That's lemon juice territory. That can be too acidic. Vitamin C still works, but it's very acidic. So maybe around like 2.5, 2.8, 3.0 is when vitamin C you're going to hit that sweet spot of still getting the effectiveness, the most impact from it, but the least chance of it being irritating. When you mix a vitamin C tablet into a powder and then add it into water, most tap water and even distilled water is either going to have a neutral pH or it's going to be even a little alkaline. For example, if you have well water, the pH of your water that comes out of the tap is likely between 8 and 9, more on the alkaline side. And even some city water supplies can veer a little bit towards pH 8 as opposed to water's classic neutral pH of 7. Regardless, though, those numbers are way too high for the vitamin C to do its thing. And stability is less of an issue when you're making it fresh every time. You're not storing it afterwards like a product like SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic that you may have for 2 or 3 months before it's gone, and so you're worried about replacing the cap after each use and watching to make sure the color doesn't change. That's not an issue with the DIY vitamin C stuff, but you're also really not getting much in the way of effectiveness. You may be getting some antioxidant benefit, so I don't want to go so far as to say that that tactic is completely useless, but I just don't see how it's possible for a DIY vitamin C serum to perform as well and really get you that behind the scenes, under the skin result, what you could show in terms of increased firmness, skin tone, evenness, all that good stuff. I just don't see those products I don't see how it's possible for them to work in an equivalent fashion. So I get the temptation because it's a heck of a lot cheaper to do it that way. Vitamin C, go to Costco, you can get 1,000 pills for, $10, but I just don't think it'll work. Swallow them instead, per the label directions. There is such a thing as getting too much vitamin C in your body, even though it's a water-soluble vitamin. Yantisonia01. Hi, Bryan. Are your moisturizers and SPFs oil-free? Not all of them. I was told my airbrush foundation works better with oil-free moisturizer, and I can't seem to find an SPF that will work well with it. The Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 30, the one that has the slight tint to offset the white cast from the zinc oxide, that is oil-free. The Hydrolite SPF 30 is oil-free. The Skin Balancing Ultra Sheer SPF 30, these are all products for oily combination skin. That is oil-free. I don't think our Essential Glow Moisturizer that just launched is. I believe our Moisture Boost Daily Restoring Complex SPF 30 is oil-free. The Resist Skin Restoring Moisturizer SPF 50 is oil-free. Our Clear Sunscreen SPF 30 is oil-free. So we have several, but we're not. Check the ingredient list on the product page because not every SPF or every moisturizer we sell is oil-free. Megan, hi Bryan, Megan Lewis, hi Bryan, I would love your opinion on the retinol they just approved OTC. Different, thanks. So that did just get FDA approval. It's actually been available in that strength as a prescription since about 1996. And it's so I say that to give you a sense of the history, in that this is a drug that has been on the market, albeit until recently by prescription, for a long time. And it has a long track record of safety and effectiveness. I think that strength and the easy availability of this product, different over the counter, I think it's absolutely worth trying if you have acne, whether it's teen acne or adult acne. As with any more active skincare product, you just want to pay attention to how your skin responds. Are you seeing redness, flaking? Is your skin feeling sensitive? Be wary of that. Follow the directions. A lot of people think with those retinoid type products that if a little bit is good, then more must be better. And so they kind of gloss over part of the directions where it says apply a pea-sized amount. And they're like, I'm going to do a dime-sized amount. And then it's, all over their face and it's going to work, that much faster. And it doesn't. But what you might see faster that you may not have seen at all using the tiny amount is side effects that you don't want. So slow and steady wins the race with Differin. I would give Differin, the drug name is adapalene, an acne edge to over-the-counter retinol. I think retinol has some ability with blemish, pore size, that realm. But if you're really dealing with stubborn acne, you want a retinoid like Differin. And so I'm in full support of you trying it. If you find that your skin responds well to the over-the-counter Differin, but maybe not as well as you had hoped, Differin remains available by prescription at a higher strength. So I believe the amount that they approve for use over the counter is 0.01%. And I believe you can get a 0.2% or something. I may have transposed the decimals, but my point is a stronger version of it remains prescription only. So if you are getting good results, but not quite as good as you had hoped from OTC Differin, then talk to your healthcare provider about trying a prescription Differin adapalene product. Okay, it looks like there is a few here from Elena in a row. Okay. Oh, and this might be an interesting question for the lot of you. Hi, Brian. I hope you're doing well today. I have a question about product order and how sunscreen works. Does chemical sunscreen need to be in contact with your skin? So if I apply a chemical and a mineral, does the chemical one need to go first? Okay, let's start with that, and then I'll do your wrap-up question. So there are some people that say that chemical sunscreens, which it can be confusing because we refer to titanium dioxide and zinc oxide as mineral sunscreens, and they are, at least mineral derived, but they're chemicals too. And so are the chemicals in the so-called chemical sunscreen. Water is a chemical. I have a love-hate relationship with the term chemical sunscreen versus mineral sunscreen because I know it helps consumers easily say, now I get it. But from a scientific chemistry standpoint, they're all chemicals. And it doesn't mean that one is necessarily better than the other. But I've seen reports or dermatologists going on record saying that in order for a chemical sunscreen like those that contain avobenzone, octinoxate, octisalate, and so on, they need to actually be in physical contact with the skin and adhere to it, or they won't work. The way that sunscreens are tested and just using sunscreens day to day, as long as it's the last skincare product you apply, if you're putting a sunscreen on, chemical or mineral, over other products, it is still touching your skin. These other products that you're putting on are not creating an impenetrable barrier that sunscreen somehow can't diffuse through. The ingredients in a lot of these products, and this might surprise some of you, but this is a great example of how silicones are helpful because they are permeable ingredients. They can feel occlusive depending on the silicone in the formula, but they're permeable. They let you perspire, they let air traverse through the skin. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Whether you're using chemical or mineral, what counts is that you're using sunscreen and that it's the last skincare product you apply before you move on to makeup, if that's something that you wear. Makeup is not designed to penetrate into the skin. It's designed to stay on the surface. If it went too far into the skin, where's your coverage? Where's your color? It's gone. Okay, Elena wraps up with, also, can I use your primer over the new sunscreen? Yes, you can. Does it change its effectiveness, since that would be chemical over mineral? So it'll add to what it won't do. The Essential Glow Moisturizer is SPF 30, the primer is SPF 30, and so I don't want you to think that by applying both of them that you get to SPF 60, because layering sunscreens in that fashion is not additive. You do get, it's additive in the sense that you are getting more sun protection than just the single product would apply, but it's an unknown as to how much more. And it isn't accurate to say, well, here's SPF 30, here's SPF 30, and my powder has SPF 10, so I'm getting SPF 70, good for me. Not quite. Maybe you're getting up to SPF 40, but as a general rule, always default, even when you're layering sunscreens, to the single products, the highest SPF on a given product, not adding up the SPF numbers. One of the reasons, and I should have just said this at the start, combining whether or not you should or shouldn't put a chemical sunscreen on over a mineral sunscreen or vice versa, it's pretty irrelevant, given that there are sunscreens on the market that actually use both types of active ingredients. That is, those are regulatory approved combinations. Those products have that SPF rating on them. They have the broad spectrum claim. They passed what's known as the critical wavelength test, which is additional testing you do to determine the sufficiency of the actives to screen your skin from the UVA rays. Because until the requirements changed and the broad spectrum label came to mean true broad spectrum UVA, UVB protection, even when a sunscreen had UVA protecting ingredients in it, the SPF rating was only based on the product's ability to protect your skin from sunburn, which is the UVB rays. So now the broad spectrum that you see on products is not just marketing copy. It is actually there as a designation that this sunscreen passed the additional testing that was devised to determine its ability to screen your skin from the aging UVA rays, which is very good news for consumers. It's a much more reliable way of knowing. All right, we have a few minutes left. 5 minutes lightning round. So Kevin responded about the glutathione, and he wasn't saying whether, he was saying more white. I'd have to look into that, Kevin. If you hit me up in the comments section if you have some research about that. I've not seen anything regarding oral glutathione making skin whiter or using that as a means to get whiter skin. Okay, lightning round. Soulkey86 chimed in about wanting to see the ingredient list returned to the back of the packaging. Duly noted, thank you. SN12, hey Bryan, what's the best thing to do or best ingredients for the skin the next day after sleeping with sunscreen and makeup on? Accidentally, of course. Ha. Accidentally. I know how that goes. No, I know how that goes. I would say, don't forego your sunscreen. I would, when you wake up in the morning, I would do a double cleanse, or I would get a really nice cleansing scrub and use that, or use a washcloth with your regular cleanser. Use a just make sure you're getting every last speck of the previous day's stuff off. And then I might use a gentle toner, put on a little bit of a serum, and then my SPF, and kind of give my skin a break from that, and not load on a lot more makeup. Not to say that you're wearing a lot, but like for media, you wear a lot of makeup when you go on camera. It's really just about taking it easy. And then at night, I would do a higher strength exfoliant. Just to kind of kickstart and prevent anything that got pushed a little bit deeper into your pores as you were sleeping from starting to form some clogs. So like a product like our Advanced Pore Refining Treatment with 4% BHA, or the Resist Advanced Smoothing Treatment with 10% AHA. Good to select that on at night. Okay, Ivy, when is Earth's First Toner coming back? I'm dying over here. I need to find that out. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't have that information. Katie, how do you alternate your AHA and BHA? I use the 2% BHA gel, but was interested in glycolic product. I have combination skin that is also slightly sensitive. Yeah, my skin can be sensitive, Katie, and definitely combination. Really, it's just day of the week. I use an exfoliant once a day, always at night, and I bounce back and forth between the 1% BHA lotion and Calm and the Resist Daily Smoothing Treatment with 5% AHA. And it's literally like, I used that one on Monday, this is what I put on Tuesday, and so on and so forth. And then at least once a week, I try to use one of the higher strength exfoliants that I just mentioned. I have them both. I like them both. And on that night, that higher strength exfoliant will be my only exfoliant. You can layer that with your regular lower strength exfoliant. I get such great results though from the one alone that I just don't see the point in adding an extra layer. But you can do that. It's not like, don't combine them. Is the new Defense Nighttime Moisturizer appropriate for combination skin? Yes, absolutely. Unless you know you need to avoid oils, I think so. Yeah. The Razja, can I use vitamin C AM under SPF? Yes, I did, but I've heard that it oxidizes from UV light. So my skin, what? Your skin what? Falls off? Changes color? What happens? It's a cliffhanger. No, honestly, I'm a big fan of using vitamin C during the day because UV light generates a special kind of free radical that vitamin C is uniquely equipped to neutralize. It's why it's one of the chief antioxidants in our skin. So even when you're not wearing sunscreen, the vitamin C that's naturally present in your skin is helping to defend it from UV light damage. Now, going years and years without any sunscreen, continuing to tan and whatnot, or just not really paying attention to protecting your skin outside, eventually that antioxidant system in your skin, including the vitamin C, becomes depleted. It can't regenerate itself the way it used to. That's when you really get in trouble because it's like, oh, the shields are down, boys. Going for the attack. It's wide open, totally vulnerable. We don't want that. The other issue is that when you are wearing your sunscreen, unless you're really being stingy with the application, the amount of UV screening that gives, I wouldn't worry about the vitamin C oxidizing. It's just not enough to really trigger that. And I think there's just too much research showing how vitamin C can be helpful in the presence of UV light, which is really a concern during daylight hours. That it's silly to not do it in the morning, and then you can also apply it at night. I do it at night, not because I'm worried about what's going to happen during the day, but because I endeavor to use fewer products in the morning. I keep it very simple, and I really layer stuff at night. All right, one more question. I see Carrie Beth has several. Let's pick one of hers. Just wanted to say thank you. Yes, I'm yelling. So excited to PC for the clear line. It has completely cleared my teenage daughter's skin. Now going to school without makeup. That is so awesome, Carrie. I'm so happy for her. Let's see. Clear skin has given her more confidence and just changed her life for the better, and that makes this mama so happy. Will forever support PC. I tell every mom I see who mentions their child is struggling with acne about the clear line, and anyone else who mentions acne about it, and will listen. Thank you so much. The clear products took a lot of doing. They kind of seem simple, and they're really just following what the research has shown acne-prone skin needs and not giving acne-prone skin anything it doesn't need. Hello, jarring alcohol, menthol, peppermint. We don't need that stuff on acne-prone skin. Skincare shouldn't hurt. And that is just, I love hearing stories about that and how much the clear products have helped, because if you've ever struggled with acne before, even a little bit, it's you know the hit your self-esteem can take. And I'm so happy that I had the wherewithal and the support from my family to take steps to get my acne under control when I was a teenager. My research personality and curious nature is actually what led me to find Paula's books all those years ago. And here I am today sharing what I know with all of you. I know we're running over, but I just, that was like, I love that we're ending this monthly chat with the warm fuzzies and that your daughter, that her skin is doing so well. If you can get her to start using sunscreen, and we have one in the clear line that's super lightweight and fluid, it's not going to clog her pores. If she's not, just bit my tongue. If she's not already doing that, see if you can sneak that in, have her experiment with it. If you can get her in the good daily habit of sun protection, when she's in her 30s and 40s, she will be hugging you, or she should be hugging you, because her skin is going to look so much better than her friends who are tanning and not wearing sunscreen, and on and on and on. And I know teenagers, it's hard to get them to do much of anything that that the parents really want them to do. So I wish you luck, and if she's amenable to it, then call our customer service, our client services, I keep forgetting it's client services, and have them send you some samples, and tell them that Bryan said to do so complimentary. So, all right, everyone, I am blathering on here and I need to wrap up. I will be back talking at you next month. And as I said at the top of this hour, if I did not get to your question, please feel free to post it in the comment section below. I'll check over the next few days and respond to as many other questions as I can. And thank you for watching.